a very good morning and welcome to a brand new week of BNS and the Stock Game on ET Now. I'm Megha Chadha.
Afternoon everyone, I'm Avan Dabash. Thankfully for our three new contestants this week, the markets have started off on a positive note, so that should certainly work in their favour. Let's start off by telling you what BNS and the Stock Game is all about. It's a portfolio building exercise where three new experts join in every week from Monday right up until Friday. They play with us for half an hour and we give them an option to create a portfolio with that notional amount of 5 lakh rupees that we dole out to them. Now with this money they can only choose one stock from the F&O stock. In addition to that, if a target price has been achieved or if a stop loss has been triggered, then they must replace those stocks with a new one. In case they have a sell call in the cash market, they also have to replace that with a new stock for the next day. It's only the first day of BNS and the Stock Game, but the final winner will only be announced come Friday at 3:30 p.m. based on who makes the maximum amount of money on their notional amount of 5 lakh rupees. So let's get straight to it then and introduce our guests who will be joining in the exciting game show for the week. We've got with us Pankaj Jain, our director at Suntech WealthMax. There's also Shrikant Shetty who will be joining us in a short while from now. He's Head of Equity Advisory at Unicorn Investment Solution, and an entrant into the Stock Game for the first time, Uday Narayan Dubey, Vice President Research and Institutional Desk at RK Global. So we've got with us our three experts ready. Let's start off with Uday, who's joining in right in the studio with us. Hi Uday, welcome to the show. Firstly, run us through your entire portfolio with your individual targets and stop losses.
Yeah, hi morning. My first call was to pick Dr. Reddy as a long call. I have a target price of 630 with a stop loss of 1570. My second call was to pick Wipro at a price target of 418 with a stop loss of 395. My third call was to sell Canara Bank with a stop loss of 340 with a stop loss of 373 for a target of 340. My fourth call was to pick Coal India for a price target of 308.
Okay, so that's how Uday's portfolio is looking for today. 3 buy calls and 1 short in the portfolio. And it seems like it's a similar strategy that Shrikant has also adopted for today. Shrikant, morning. Good to have you with us. Run us through your portfolio for day one.
I picked 4 stocks. Primarily one is BHEL with a stop loss of 234 for a target of 260, and buy on Larsen again with a stop loss of 2990 with a target of 1070. A buy on Syntex with a stop loss of 66 for a potential target of about 80, and a sell on PFC with a stop loss of 136 for a target of 120.
Okay, and great minds certainly think alike, because Pankaj Jain too has 3 buy calls and 1 solitary sell. Pankaj, walk us through your portfolio for the first day.
Morning Avan, thanks for calling me one of the great men anyway. I think major consideration in picking up today's stock has been, like, most of the international markets are closed today because of Christmas. We are running into December expiry, and we are sort of the kind of short covering we are seeing since Friday. I think we are following up with that. So taking that into consideration, I have picked up 3 long positions and 1 short positions. My long positions, I've gone long on Grasim with a stop loss of 2423 with a target of 2479. I've gone in long in future segment. Along with that, I've gone long on Hindustan Lever. I think this is one of my favorite bet, Hindustan Lever along with ITC. And I've taken 1 momentum long call, that is Kingfisher. That was basis for that, I think, was something to do with the kind of news we were getting on the weekend. 1 short call I have taken, I think that is Power Finance Corporation. I think Shrikant has also taken that.
Absolutely. In fact, PFC is a common short call between the two of you. So 3 longs, 1 short for Pankaj for today. Let's then take you through the calculator to tell you how each of them is doing right now. So we've got Uday's portfolio first up. None of the targets or the stop losses in his portfolio have been triggered yet, but it's a Canada Bank that's causing some bit of pain for him. But the other 3 counters are in the green and he's making close to 0.5%. So 2,000 rupees is roughly where he stands at the moment. Shrikant, on the other hand, a Power Finance Corporation not working out too well, but a Syntex Industries making him almost 4%. Overall, the portfolio is up by about 1.5%. 7,000 rupees is where he's placed that. Pankaj, on the other hand, 2 targets have already been hit, one on a Grasim as well as an HUL. PFC is not working well for him either, but he's making close to 3,500 rupees as we speak. But time then to go straight to our experts and get their rationale behind their picks for day one. Uday, I'll begin with you. Your first pick for the day, the Dr. Reddy's that you've initiated a long on, a target of 1630 is what you're expecting. Now, we just had news coming in that the company has split its marketing division into two parts to improve sales. So fundamentally, what do you think how the company is doing right now, and technically, what are the charts suggesting to you?
Fundamentally, company is doing well. I think currency depreciation is going to pay them off. Major IT and to some extent the pharma companies. We have a long-term bullish call on Dr. Reddy. I think pharma stock have done too well in recent past, and they are likely to outperform. Dr. Reddy is one of the stock which I think is going to outperform in coming days. I have a positive call on Dr. Reddy. It is trading above 50 EMA and it's continuously closing above 200 is EMA also, which is a quite good and bullish momentum. And the price pattern on short-term chart are indicating that it is in quite up move and in uptrend and likely to do well in coming days. We have a buy call on this stock, and I expect 1610 is a major hurdle. Once it crosses, it can go and further gain momentum. My initial target is 1630, but one can hold the stock, then it can go and test 1650 also, I think. But for trading, I think 1630 will be a good level to exit, I think, somewhere.
Okay, a thumbs up coming in on Dr. Reddy's, and you have Uday who has pointed out that a crucial level that one needs to watch out for on this counter is 1610. Once it crosses it, you can also not rule out an upside of 1630 to even 1650 on this counter, higher by 7/10 as we speak. Let's focus in on BHEL. You've got Shrikant Shetty who's got a buy call on that one. Shrikant, that's currently trading at a level of close to 245 as we speak. But do you think it would be prudent for one to buy into this stock close to those 2009 lows of 230 to 225 for a potential upside?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at what has happened is that the stock is trading at almost sub 10 like valuations. So the market has overly discounted the negatives of the fact that the order flows, new order flows have been quite low. But here's a company which is doing reasonably well. It's a zero debt company, has a decent order book, and it's trading at sub 10 valuations, makes it an attractive buy. From a trading perspective, I pegged it with a stop loss of 234 for a near-term target of about 260. Though from a fundamental basis, we do have a target of about 300 to 330 levels from a medium-term perspective.
Okay, so fundamental target, or a rather long-term target that you can expect on a BHEL is 300 to 330 odd. Right now the counter is higher by about 1.5% in this session. On to Pankaj's first pick for the day, which has already achieved the target, Pankaj, that you set out for it. A Grasim Industries from the cement pack. Not a very highly liquid counter, but nevertheless, you know, this is showing quite a bit of uptick today for the, for the month of December as well. It's been up by about 6% odd. Do you think that it's going to scale that 2500 mark as well in the near term possibly?
It can, I think, and almost 25-50 kind of levels. I think those are at 52-week high levels also. And generally what we've been seeing, I think cement sector along with FMCG sector, I think this has been one sector which has been pretty resilient. And if we, I think major rationale for picking up this stock, I think I could have picked up any other cement stock also, because I think they are again on a up move kind of thing. And the kind of November dispatch numbers we have seen from cement sector, they were pretty attractive. Grasim Q2 results were attractive, and what these cement companies they've been able to do, I think they've formed some kind of, I would say, unseen cartelization, in the sense by controlling their production they've been able to hold their prices, and they've been able to raise the prices by about 5 to 7% in last 2-3 months. So taking all these things into consideration, valuations of Grasim are attractive, and we feel that on say 2 to 3 week kind of horizon we could see another 50 to 70 rupee move in Grasim. Though you rightly pointed out, it's not one of those actively liquid counters, but we thought that this counter would do well. We've been seeing this momentum for last 3-4 days. Momentum would be on, and we feel this December expiry for most of these major cement stocks should be good.
Alright, not very actively talked about, but Grasim December futures is what Pankaj is putting his money on. It's gaining 1.5% in today's session, 2,479. That's the upside target that you can look for. Let's move away from that then and talk about the second pick in each of our experts' portfolios. You've got an IT stock, Wipro, which is making an appearance in Uday's portfolio. Uday, you've placed an upside target of 418 on this counter. Technicals do seem to be working in favor of this pack, and there has been relative outperformance. How are you matching the fundamentals?
Wipro, Wipro is our second best pick. Even we have picked Wipro in the month of September in a long-term portfolio buy with a price target of 440. The stock is continuously doing well, and I think it's likely to do well. Currency depreciation has supported the stock prices, and even overall this industry as a whole. I think stock has given a good technical pullback and maybe likely uptrend chart. Stock is in clear uptrend, and it is trading average 23.6% retracement zone from August bottom of 310 to December top of 421, and it's continuously holding 395. I think 395 is quite good zone, and I think where I have put my stop loss. I have a good positive outlook on the company and overall for the whole pack. Wipro is our top pick and likely to remain in our top pick. I have a day target of 418 and even 1 hour day 2 target 418, but long term target we have in Wipro is 440.
Okay, so the IT pack looking good overall, and Wipro really stands out from that entire pack. 440 is the long-term target, but for the day, of course, it's a 418 that Uday is talking about. On to Shrikant's second pick for the day. Shrikant, for today, it looks like you have a lot of names coming in from the infra as well as the capital goods space. So it's a Larsen & Toubro that you've picked. A target of 1070 is what you're expecting. You know, this is one counter that's taken an absolute bashing despite the fact that we're seeing good order inflow come in. In fact, the company is talking about how they're investing about 10,000 odd crores in West Bengal for a power plant as well. Last week, it spent 3 days in the range below 1,000 sort of levels. Do you think that we have recovered from those levels and we can possibly, have bottomed out as far as the negatives are concerned?
In terms of market pricing and discounting the negatives, it seems to have done a lot of things. We've seen a lot of negatives, be it in terms of order flows. The company has indicated that there'll be sluggish order flows, and that's what the market has already discounted. There's been some negatives about delay in projects. We think that is also factored in. If there is even a marginal revival in the investment infrastructure segment, surely Larsen is bound to benefit out there, and being one of the larger players is bound to be a prime player in that segment. What we are looking at here is also technically 980 levels is a very important support area for Larsen. So in that sense, I think there's a fair possibility that we could have a pullback rally till 1100 to 1150 kind of levels. So for the time being, I'm trading for an uptick till about 1080 levels.
A stock that has been severely beaten down, but Shrikant Shetty is seeing value buying potential 1100 to 1150. That's the kind of upside that you can see on the back of a pullback rally that is likely to extend for this counter. 1025 for L&T on last count. Coming across to Kingfisher Airlines, Pankaj has got a buy call on that. And take a look at the kind of volatile move it's had today. So 2250 is where it's opened, it cracked into the red, and now it seems to be clawing back into the green. But Pankaj, given all of the news that has been surrounding this company, the latest being that Subrata Roy is lending a helping hand, giving it a 750 crore loan, do you think that you would only attribute a buy call based on the technicals of the company, given how shaky the fundamentals are?
Right, Megha. I think let me warn my viewers that this is more of a techno momentum call rather than absolute longer term fundamental call. I still believe on a long term basis, I think these aviation stocks would continue to struggle. But on a short term basis, maybe on a 2-3 or week kind of basis, I think we could have some kind of momentum in these stocks. Basically, most of the traders are going short in aviation stocks along with KFA and say Jet Airways. We could see some kind of positive policy action from government post parliament session. We have seen news for government may allow direct import of turbine fuel to these aviation companies, and along with that on weekend there was news that Kingfisher has been able to rope in Mr. Subrata Roy for some kind of bailout fund amount being about 750 crores. That may or may not be true, but I think that was that was the basis of going marginally positive on this stock. So it's more of a technical momentum call. If we don't hit our target, I think we'll replace this stock tomorrow.
Okay, pure technicals, which is driving Pankaj to have a buy call on this counter, 21.85 for Kingfisher on last count. Let's pull up the calculator plates, then would be interesting to see who's faring and how. So Uday Narayan Dubey, currently his portfolio is entirely in the green. Can Bank is a bit of a sticky spot, that's 0.5%, 2,500 rupees as of now. Shrikant Shetty too is making a gain on his overall portfolio. PST is not working in his favor. That's 1.3%, so he's clocking in a solid gain of 6,000 rupees as we speak. And finally on to Pankaj Jain, who's Also seeing a bit of pain when it comes to Power Finance Corp. It's 0.7%. That's what he stands to gain. So 3,700 rupees, which would mean Shrikant Shetty is leading, followed by Pankaj Jain and then Uday Narayan Dubey. Time to take that quick break on BNS and the stock game, and as always, on the other side, picks 2, 3 and 4 by our experts.
Well, not just that, you also have a chance to participate on the show, so you can write into us with any queries that you may have, and we'll have the experts advise you on the same. So you can email us your query at bnsn@etnow.tv. You could also message us at 58888, or you could call us and join in live on 022 2437 111. And not just that, we also help you analyze your portfolio every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So write into us with your portfolio at bnsn@etnow.tv, and we'll have the experts have a look at it and advise you on the same. Back with BNS and the stock game, and we're playing the game with Uday as well as Pankaj and Shrikant, who are with us this week. So time now to then get you details on their picks number 3 and 4. Uday, you've got a Canara Bank that you decided to go short on. A target of 340 is what you're looking at, and the counter has not really had a good going as far as the entire year is concerned. It's lost about 45% from the start of the year alone.
Yeah. That's why we have chosen. A recent trend we have seen is banking stocks are leaders and laggards whenever market moves up and downs. I think that's the concern. Bank Nifty has given 1.5% positive return last week, and a stock like Canara Bank and other PSU majors like something like Allahabad Bank has corrected 10 to 12%. I think Canara Bank has corrected 11.5% with a recent good volume, I think, and it has broken down important zones. We have a short call, that's why, and I think it's likely to bleed further. I have a negative view on this stock and overall some of the PSU banks, something like Allahabad Bank also. I will prefer to sell on a higher, once it moves higher and higher. I don't have a long-term call, long position in this stock, and I recommend to sell or maybe exit when stocks moves up. Better to sell.
Okay, better to sell given that fundamental factors aren't auguring well for a Can Bank, which is why you've got Uday, who's keeping a target of 340 on the counter with a tight stop loss at a level of 373. Can Bank fairly buoyant in today's session, holding up at that level in the green of 0.8%, 365. But let's focus in then on a mid-cap counter, which is seeing a massive pullback rally today. 3.5% is what Syntex Industries is putting on, and Shrikant Shetty has got a buy call on that one. Shrikant, you've got lots of analysts which have been raising the red flag when it comes to a lot of issues brewing around this company with respect to a slowdown in the growth. There's also the worries regarding the foreign currency repayment. But how are you mapping the technicals?
So there are a couple of things on the currency front. Obviously, the last quarter also they had taken a current hit on the currency. So even the current quarter, there's expected that the company will have to take a hit on the currency front. The notional loss booking on the foreign currency loans which it has. Even on the business front, we've seen some slowdown. But the primary concern is largely been on the foreign currency front and the debt front. I think if you look at Syntex balance sheet, the debt is not large enough that they should be finding it difficult to service it at some point of time. Even they could probably refinance it. So the market seems to have overdone a bit of negatives in this stock. So on a pullback rally, I think 80-85 kind of target is very much easily achievable. So that's what I'm looking to trade for.
Okay, so the negatives are all likely to have been factored into the stock of Syntex Industries. The target of 80 rupees is what you can look at in the near term, 3.5% higher already in the session. Pankaj, it's in Hindustan Unilever. You've got a buy call there which has already hit the target, and the counter just seems to be making fresh highs every day. Today, in fact, 418.5 is what it hit, and it's retraced that just about very marginally. But do you think new fresh 52-week highs are here to stay for an HUL?
Absolutely, Megha. I think Hindustan Lever, I think it's case of basically glass. You got to see whether the glass is half full or half empty. There are two serious groups. One is whether, if we talk about basis of fundamentals, the kind of PE valuation at plus 35 kind of PE, definitely Hindustan Lever along with ITC, Nestle, these are not cheap stocks. But you don't have many places to hide. I think what FIs are doing, I think if they're selling stocks worth say 100 crore rupees in a particular day, I think they're putting 25% of that money, say 25 crores into stocks like Colgate, Hindustan Lever and ITC, I think Lever being the better bet. So I believe like whether Hindustan Lever will go up by another 10% first and then shed maybe 10-15%, or whether it will go down 10% first and then try to recover. I think I am in the group where I feel that Hindustan Lever is definitely capable of scaling levels closer to say 430s or maybe between 435 and 415 in coming weeks or coming months with the kind of momentum we have in this stock. So Hindustan Lever, that was my idea. I think Hindustan Lever along with ITC on any major dip, I think they are my favorite bets. I think investors can still latch onto that and gain about 5 to 7% in next month or so.
Absolutely, Pankaj, and you've got the charts which are certainly supporting that prognosis that you've got. 52 weeks, the stock has gained 41%. It's showing resilience over the past few weeks in such a volatile market, that too. So an outperformer when it comes to Unilever, 418 is where that counter is currently placed at. Time for 3 more stock ideas, the last ones in each of our experts' portfolio. So we'll take it straight to Uday Narayan, who's got a buy call on a Coal India. You've got quite a few factors on the fundamental side which are working in favor of this one. Strong profitability, the low cost of mining and high reliance on the open cast mines, which are some of the key positives. Yeah. Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think Coal India fundamentally is a quite good company, and only worry for the Coal India is right now is the management dispute with the workers, which is playing an important role, and that's why the stock is correcting on every rise. Here and there we got some news that the management demanding once again 50% kind of a rise on a wages and all. So that's the only worry for the Coal India as overall. I don't see any other factor is going to impact Coal India for the longer term. One thing that I want to make here is that we have a long-term outlook on Coal India is quite very positive. Coal India is our remain top pick for the full year CY12 with a price target of 370. For the day trading or maybe for swing trading, Coal India is continuously trading in an important zone of 294 to 312 to 15. It is continuously making a lower bottom formation around 294. That's why I have placed this stop loss around that area, and I like Coal India around 300 level. It's a good buy, and I recommend a buy on average dips. I like the story of Coal India. It is having a 70 to 80% market share with low cost production and all, and now new pricing is going to become out. So we have a positive outlook on the company, and for trading, swing trading, we have a target around 308. However, I have a quite sure view like it's going to cross 308 if positive momentum is going to be continued. If market suppose the counter, it can move around 312, 318 also.
Okay, so good long-term pick, that's the word on a Coal India. Good time to buy around 300 levels, and it's currently trading below all those daily moving averages. Then on to Shrikant's last pick for the day, a Power Finance Corporation. Shrikant, you know this one as well, it's quite close to the 52-week lows of 133 odd. Right now, for today at least, it's about 1.5% higher in the session. But you think that there's a lot more pain in the counter possibly?
So if you look at what's happening in the power sector, and if you look at what the banks have been saying, there have been some talks already about settlement with resettlement of debt with some banks. In case of PFC being singularly lending to only the power sector, the risks are clearly higher out here. We have not seen any government action coming through on the SCBs, barring a few state governments which have managed to raise tariffs. The rest still remain a concern, and in the near term it doesn't seem like it's going to be solved. So there could be more incremental pressure coming in on PFC, and that's a risk. So from a short-term perspective, there could be more downsides, and that's why given the kind of weakness which we are seeing in the stock, I prefer to take a short call on it for a target of about 120.
A short call being taken on a Power Finance Corp, although in today's session it's certainly bucking the trend, seeing a gain of close to 1% at 134. And that's the exact same pick, Pankaj, that you've got. Shrikant already spoke about quite a few points. You know, from those peaks of October 2010, after which it dipped, it's been in a sideways consolidation mode. So you too foreseeing more downside pressure?
I think so. I think Power Finance Corporation along with REC, I think charts are showing extreme weakness. I think it doesn't matter. I think stock is up a bit today. Power sector has been one of the major reasons for underperformance of stock market as a whole. I think banking, most of the banks are suffering because of lending to power sector. generally, if we talk about say PFC and REC, their cost of funding or their cost of funds is not as low as banks. And the probable NPAs in this sector and the issues which they are facing with state electricity board, the pending dues, and so I think there are troubled times ahead, and the kind of serious delivery based selling we have seen. I think FIs which had been holding these stocks in pretty large quantities, I think they've been very serious sellers. So I won't be zapped, I won't be utterly surprised if we see a 2-digit level for a stock like PFC. So maybe on a day basis we could be a bit up, but I think any major pullbacks in these stocks, say PFCs along with REC, I think on a short-term basis, on next 2-3 weeks kind of basis, I'll use this opportunity to sell off. So PFCs is looking weak along with REC.
Okay, so any sort of rallies are a good time to probably initiate a short in the likes of a PFC or an REC. But let's run you through the calculators then and tell you how the experts, each of them, is doing right now. So we've got Uday. None of the stop losses or the targets have yet been hit for him, but Canara Bank continuing to cause a bit of pain. But the 3 counters are in the green right now, so his portfolio is higher by about 0.5%. Shrikant, on the other hand, it's the PFC that's causing a spot of trouble for him. But Syntex Industry is doing rather well, and overall he's making close to 7,000 rupees. Pankaj, on the other hand, a Grasim Industries as well as an HUL are the 2 counters where he's hit the target, and a PFC for him as well is a spot of trouble, but he is making close to 4,000 rupees as we speak. With that, gentlemen, would like to thank each of you for joining us today on BNS in the Stock Game, and we look forward to having you back with us tomorrow with your fresh picks for day 2.
Okay, so lots of stock ideas which are slated for tomorrow, but in the meantime, here's what you can do. Be a part of the show Buy Now, Sell Now by sending in all of your individual queries. It's 3 very simple ways that you can participate on the show. So we've got an email ID where you can write into us at bnsn@etnow.tv. You can also send in an SMS to 58888, or if you want to be live on the show and talk to Rajat Bose, then dial into 022-2483-7111. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as you all know, is when we take on board our Portfolio Advisor segment. So you can get expert advice on your portfolio by sending in your portfolio details to bnsn@etnow.tv.